Welcome to Bar Karate, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer, and it's that time of the week where I get to hang out with some really cool sailors, but of course I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. So first off, let's bring in Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, exalted one.
BP.
G'day, everyone. How are you all? You know how we're working on this sort of going pro thing? We're sort of working on, videos and bits and pieces, and we're just trying to work out how to actually make this thing work for us. I'm pretty stoked because we just opened a TikTok thing up and we've got 4 followers. We're nailing it.
TikTok?
We're all over it.
Don't we have to do a dance or something?
Yeah. I don't know, but
you go first, BP. You have to do a dance. You go first.
4 followers. How good are we?
Well, we're on fire, mate. Well done. Can't go backward in there.
No.
Let's bring in the other bloke.
He had a voice that could make a Wolverine.
I'm not one of those followers yet.
No, my mum is, and Brett's mum is.
I was going to say, and Bicey's one as well.
And I am.
That's 3. And we've got some bloke called Marty McNichols somewhere.
Mate, you're like an influencer now, BP.
I know. I've got 4.
Look, your face is there. You've been let loose with the socials.
Oh, mate,
and all I see is you've chosen the right thumbnails to use because it's all your face.
Well, right. I just put it on there. That's all.
Yeah. Of course.
At least I'm in the middle of this camera screen, Bicey.
Well,
with yours.
No, well, how's our bloody alignment here, boys? We've spoken during the week about, just getting a bit more professional and using green screens and all that sort of stuff. Jordan's successful. You're running the white screen in front of a whiteboard there to turn around and take some notes. And I've got half a green screen.
No, we're getting
It's
there.
about. I will never accept perfection on this podcast. That would be just a disgrace.
Absolutely not. So this is all planned for the viewers.
Loose.
This is planned, loose and fast. Absolutely.
Right.
Where are you situated, Jordan?
You look like you're having fun there, mate.
Actually, that is literally about 400 meters from my house. That's the bottom of my street. That's a photo my wife took.
Oh yeah, she's definitely got the talent in the family.
Yeah, she got the talent. That's right.
Yeah,
I got the looks. That's just the bottom of my street. Literally, I go past to get out of my house to get out onto the main road. I have to go straight past that. So very cool.
Good.
Cool. I think we should bring in our guest because one of the things about the video scenario now is that everyone can see. Our guest is sitting there just looking, going, "You idiots, hurry up." So we might as well bring her in. Our guest.
Here we go.
I don't know. Go on.
No, I'm waiting for you.
Okay, our guest. We're all pretty fired up about this one because one, we love the Dutch, and their love for the ocean race and their love for sailing, and their
love for stroopwafels.
Oh,
something which I know you are extremely excited about, Jordan, and myself. I have a favourite bit of Dutchland as well. The Heineken, the great Heineken comes from such a country. So. Yeah, so we've all got our loves from Holland. Go ahead, sorry.
Yep. So I guess tonight's into it. She's into sailing, a pro sailor, and one of the emerging talents that are coming out of the Netherlands, and was part of the ocean race on the 65s with Team Whisperer. Part of Sailing Holland, part of the Heine Team Talents approach. I've seen her on M32s. I've seen her down for the Sydney Hobart. I've seen her doing quite a few things, but as part of the ocean race, this edition won the import, won the first leg in the 65s. And we're very excited to chat to her because there's one other thing that really, really interests me about this lady. She's got a master's in biomedical engineering, that's cool, with a specialty in biomechatronics. Wow. I have no idea what that is, but to me, it's robot spiders, and I'm sticking with that. So please welcome to the show, Arienne van der Loosdrecht. How'd I go?
Close.
Howdy go.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, great to have you on board. And speaking of being on board, your first leg in the ocean race you've ever done, and you win it. Got to be pretty chuffed about that.
Yeah, it was good. It was like it was super much fun, and winning it was, of course, like the best thing that could happen for that. So enjoyed it loads.
We have to focus in on that. So I had a look at the team, right? You got yourself, Dutch, so multilingual, obviously, Dutch, what are you, German and English, I'm guessing would be your languages.
Probably chuck a bit of French in there as well.
Maybe a bit of French.
Yeah, not so much, but like a little bit
Okay.
German, English. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then there's a lot of Polish people on that team. Then you've got the Lisbot, the Lisbot,
Yeah.
and then you've got, I think Nettie was on the team, and I'm just trying to find out what language you spoke in, because I just want to work out how much swearing you had to put up with from Nettie, because if it was in English,
every second word.
You've learned a few new words.
What's the language on the boat?
We made our own special language. We got the Spanish, we got the Polish. No, it was English, of course, because like there were so many different nationalities, and the only thing everyone could speak was English. But it was a good way to learn not a little bit of Polish, but mainly to learn some Spanish.
Yeah. And swear words in English, I bet you, because that Nettie boy, he throws them out there.
But he doesn't realise they're swear words. He just thinks it's normal English.
That's normal English.
Because he arrived to us in the Volvo in 208 in Telefonica, and he could hardly speak English, but he just worked out that word was part of our normal language.
Normal vocabulary.
He just thinks it's normal.
All right, let's get into it. So how did you get into sailing? Obviously, it's a safety mechanism in the Netherlands, because at some stage you're going to be underwater, so you need to know how to sail. Is that basically the philosophy, or what?
Yeah, for sure. That's why my parents got me into it. And but I just started sailing with my parents on one of the many lakes in Friesland that everyone goes sailing on, I think, when they're young. So they got me into it. And but that was just like cruising and like at sailing schools and stuff. And then at some point I got in I didn't get into racing super early. But when I was 14, 15, I did some racing at a local club, and I thought it was so much fun. And from there on, I've been racing a lot. And yeah, I just noticed then that sailing out there is fun, and I think being out at the sea or at the lake is super much fun. But then racing against other boats, I was sold right away.
So, what's the traditional, the starters boat in the Netherlands? So, when you were sailing on the lakes, was it in an opti or just something else, and then when you were racing, what was that?
So when I started, I was already a little bit older, so I didn't do the optis anymore, even though that's like what most young people start in. And then there's loads of local boats, but also of course the Olympic boats, because I think that's pretty big in the Netherlands as well. And I also did a lot with smaller keel boats, so the Melges 24 and the J70s, and the match racing. Like that's pretty big here as well. So I did a lot of that in that time.
And were you just hooked instantly, like from that minute you raced? Was it a competitive thing, or was it just the fun element, and the racing being good was a bit of a byproduct, so to speak?
No, so I think I enjoyed the sailing, and I knew that from when I went sailing with my parents. But for me, it was just an extra dimension, racing against other people and making the boat go fast, and winning and going faster than other people. So that made it a lot more fun. And when I started doing that, I tried to do it more and more. And in the beginning, I didn't know all the possibilities that there were, like the options for going sailing. But the more I did it, the more I saw there's more to do, and there's bigger races, and it's even more fun. So
we talked to a lot of people about this, and this is another example of it. So you've done your dinghies, you've done your small keel boats. You're obviously gaining a little bit of experience. The next step that you've taken, obviously, from where you were to getting on board a Volvo 65 or a VO65, it's a big step. I mean, who did you speak to along the way to actually sort of realize that dream? Because that's one of the biggest questions that we get asked. How do I do a Volvo?
Yeah, so I think for me it was for sure like the Team Heine that you mentioned earlier, which is like a youth squad for the Dutch. On a 35-foot boat, we mainly raced, and we did that for 3 years. And that was like there we learned super many things. And also now at the start of the ocean race, there were 6 people out of the team from that we had that time that were at the start and racing there. So I think it just shows how good the program is. So we did that, and there you learned everything. You learned how to race the boat fast, but also we did some splicing. We learned how to maintain the winches, how to be there on time, because if you were late, you would be doing push-ups or so. Like we were pretty young then, so we had to learn all the things still. And then when that was finished, it was super, like we did 100, 120 days a year. So it was we were with the same group all the time, and that made us learn a lot. But then also afterwards, for me, it was like, whoa, I know there's a big sailing world, but I don't know anyone there. So there was a bit like it felt like I ended up a bit in a big gap afterwards. But then there was actually Caroline Brouwer helped me a lot through the Magenta project. And then so she helped me find my way a little bit in that. So for me, that was like the perfect timing. First doing Team Heine, and exactly when that finished, the Magenta project thing came up. So I think those 2 things helped me a lot.
That's fantastic.
So Arienne, sorry, Beef, I just got to jump in here. Arienne, these 2 guys don't know what a place like Lelystad can do to people.
You do?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to live in Lelystad for about 6 months when we built the ABN AMRO boats and lived out on the Jolly Marina next to Team Heine, and having witnessed some of the way that they build their teams and everything. So everything that you just said there, from learning to splice to learning, winch maintenance, to be there on time. I remember talking to Roy and Tom and all those guys about some of the drills that they would do, and they'd get you up at 1 a.m. in the morning and all these crazy things going on. So, no, but Lelystad, gentlemen, it's definitely got to be on your list for places to go. I promise.
Have you ever visited the Netherlands?
I promise you, boys.
Well, I don't know whether to take that seriously or not.
Of course, 23% of the time.
Yeah. So it must have been a ton of fun, when you get a mentor and it's Caroline Brouwer. Like, did you just pick up the phone to some of your sailing friends and just say, I'm being mentored by Caroline Brouwer? Like, that's World Sailor of the Year. Just, she's okay.
Yeah, not
bad.
The
ocean race. Like, you must have just been pretty chuffed at that scenario.
Yeah, I don't think I could have had a better mentor at that moment, because it was also just after she won the race. So for me, it was like the first woman to win the ocean race, and my goal was to do the ocean race. So I don't think it could have been any better. And she's Dutch, of course, which is even more fun.
Did you sort of say that to her, that this is your goal, you want to do the ocean race, and that was part of the goal? And obviously you would have had a lot of communication with her. Yeah,
so I think one of the things, for me at least, Caroline was helping me with setting these goals, so the bigger goal was the ocean race, but at that point it was 4 years ago now, I think. So it was still quite far away. So we also set some smaller goals, but she knew that the end goal would be to do the ocean race.
We call her an Aussie now, of course.
We've claimed her, by the way.
Yeah, famous Australian sailor.
Well, the lake has.
So, as part of the of those discussions with Caroline, did you feel as though when she was looking to skipper the Dutch team, was that maybe a pathway, and now it's just worked out this way, and you're still in contact with her, talking about it?
Yeah, so I was very lucky that the Magenta project setup is only for a year mentoring, but I like Caroline a lot, and I think it was also a bit the other way around. So I stayed in touch with her, and I visited her actually at the lake in Australia later on. So then last year when they announced that, I thought it would be super much fun, and I think it's a shame that it didn't come through, because for me, she's such an example for me of what's possible. So it would have been great fun to sail with her. Yeah, so it's a shame it didn't come through, but it would have been amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So with the whole element, because you got your first gig, I guess, to bring into the ocean race. We'll go into some of the other stuff in a minute, but we might as well focus in on the ocean race. You did the Europe event.
Yes.
So that was the first intro. How did that one come about?
Yeah, so after the last race, there was still a Volvo 65 with Sailing Holland. So it was back home for us, and they kind of set up like this program to get a lot of young sailors into it. We just did mainly deliveries, a little bit of racing, a lot of training. So through that, they started with a lot of people, and then they had a little bit of a selection for the Ocean Race Europe tour. And we were with a full Dutch team there. So I think it was we didn't fully speak Dutch on board because we had one person that lived in Holland but didn't speak Dutch. But other than that, we could have spoken Dutch. And there was a couple of the experienced guys who'd already know a lot about the boat, together with, I think there were 6 or 7 guys my age. So for us, it was a great opportunity to learn from them and to properly race the boat for the first time.
Mm. So, one of the things, I think we're focusing in on this stuff a bit, and one of the interests is that we really try and talk about pathways for people to make it as a pro. Would you describe your pathway as being difficult or easy?
I think I've been lucky, which made it better. Like, for example, getting like Caroline as my mentor. So I think that made it better, but still, if you really want to make it, I think you need to work hard. So it will never be super easy, I don't think. But I've been lucky, and I think that helps.
Oh, and the Magenta project is such a successful project, it's getting from strength to strength. That's obviously a good port of call for the younger generation to get involved in.
Yeah, and I think in general there's more and more opportunities for girls as well. So I think that's a good thing.
So, well, you are walking in Caroline's shoes here. So the future is bright, given she was a guest episode 37 from memory.
Off the top of
your So that's just another one that you can talk to her about, how you had to talk to these 3 idiots from bloody Australia.
I will.
So what age were you when you started thinking, I wouldn't mind being a pro sailor?
I think it was during the time with Team Heine, because for me, I didn't, also in the ocean race, there weren't that much women then, and so for me, it looked like really far away or so. And then during the time at Team Heine, Roy said, yeah, this is the, you will learn enough to have a basic or the basics for getting to the ocean race. And I was like, well, we're doing quite well. Maybe he's right. Let's try. So when I finished Team Heine, I was like, let's give it a go. I don't know if it's going to happen. And then I went out into the big sailing world, what it felt like for me. And then it actually went pretty well. So that's when I really thought like, okay, this is possible. Let's keep going with it.
Was it a bit of a, were you naturally driven to the big boats, or did you kind of have a bit of a, maybe go to the off the beach or Olympic classes, or it was always going to be a big boat?
I really enjoy sailing in a team, and I still really do enjoy the bigger teams like we have on the 65. So for me, that's a big reason to go and sail on the big boats, that you have a team which you can lift you up at times and which you can help yourself at times as well. So
all right. So what about the Imoccas then? Dropping back down.
Yeah, that's a smaller team, eh? Yeah, it's a lot smaller, I think. And I think for me, still, like this race, that's why the 65s are so much fun right now, because it's still 10 people on the boat instead of so they are on board with 3 others instead of being on board with 1 other. So
can we talk about the first leg, because she was a doozy. Obviously, we're right, like as we're recording this, punters, we are. The boats are 25 miles from the finish at Cape Town as we're recording, and we were hoping that they'd finish while we're recording, but at the moment she is glassy. They're doing about 2 to 3 knots. So we're not going to get that. So let's talk about this first leg, because if we switch our mind back, she was nuclear coming out of the med, trying to get out the heads, as I like to call it. And then just like the perfect conditions down to Cape Verde. Can you just tell us what life was like on board?
Yeah, well, it's a good description in short, I think. But we expected, like beforehand, it was going to be windy, and we knew it was going to be windy. We definitely did not expect it to be this windy. Because we spoke about, like, I think the first 12, 24 hours are super easy sailing in a med, light winds at some point. So it was quite an easy start. But then we rounded the corner and we knew there was going to be a wind. We didn't know how much it was going to be, but it was going to be windy. And we got out there, and within 2-3 hours, it got up to 50 knots there. So we'd spoken about the smallest setup of sails we could go because it was upwind. We're like, nah, it's only if it's really a storm. We don't need it. Like the J3 triple reef. And then we're out there, we're like, okay, we need to change to the smallest setup we have. Pretty wavy as well for the mat. I was seasick, which I'm not very often at all. So that was a tough part for me and for some others. But it was a tough start. So everyone's pretty tired by the time we got to Gibraltar. And then we got to Gibraltar, and it was you only have like a very narrow slot to go through. And there was loads of tacking there, of course, because the closer we would stay to shore, the less current against us. So we just had the windy stuff, and then there was loads of hard work. But then afterwards, it was glamour sailing. Like the Atlantic was super good, super good.
And tell me, was the party good in Cape Verde?
Yeah, it was, but it was a bit like it was. I expected to go. Maybe I didn't do my research well enough, but I thought, we go to an island like the Canary Islands or so. Like it's still quite European, quite Western. We went to Cape Verde, and you're in Africa.
Africa, yep.
Yeah, it was so different than expected.
It's a big shock. Yes.
Yeah. No, but so there was like a carnival, and there were loads of people partying outside, like local people as well. So it was good.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And so that whole, was this now the longest time you've been at sea? Have you done any significant crossings or anything?
Yeah, I've done 3 crossings, of which one was 17 days with the 65 from the Caribbean to Holland. So that was quite a long way.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yep. But then to get into the whole watch system and stuff, obviously like the med, you said, how windy it got and all the tacking, but then to actually slide into a watch system, did you find you could just be out there for weeks and weeks on end?
Yeah, so I think I'm really lucky and I can sleep everywhere, also on the plane. Like everyone's like, oh, how do you do it? So I got into the watch system pretty quickly. And like I said, I was a little seasick. So afterwards I was like, I'm not seasick anymore. I can do anything. Like I can handle being a bit tired or so. And I actually enjoyed it so much, especially the last 2 days. It was really champagne sailing, like 20 knots downwind with these boats is so much fun. That the last night they were talking a bit about the arrival and stuff, and I was like, oh, I don't want to go yet. I still enjoy it too much. I would love for it to have taken a bit
going
longer.
to Cape Town, you reckon?
Yeah, exactly.
What role do you feel on the boats? Like when you're on the 65s, what roles are you filling?
I was trimming now, and before I did a lot in the pit with when I sailed with the Europe Tour and with the Dutchies.
Yeah, okay. And the trimming down once you're out of the med and just smoking down to Cape Verde, it must have just been like it's those things that I was watching that the whole time, just going, oh man, that's what we all dream of, just sitting there on the side, just talking shit to your mates, going full speed downwind, just triple head. The whole thing, like how cool is triple heading, like it's unreal. And the 65s invented it, so it's just unreal.
Yeah, it's super good. And the boat, like you're wet all the time, which is a pain at times. But on the other side, I think it's really nice to be outside as well. So it's good and bad, that part, but yeah.
We bought that up a bit, didn't we, lads? Like with the Amokas, where you go down into your cubby house and you play with your little school friends, and just
put your slippers on.
Put your slippers on and play Xbox.
and play Xbox. That's exactly right. Whereas you guys, you're the hardy ones. You're the tough ones. You got to get wet.
Yeah. When yachties used to be yachties, that's what it's all about.
When you needed to wear the Crocs.
There were Crocs on board for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
About that. There's always going to be Crocs on board.
Exactly.
I reckon when we finally agree to sponsorship and someone says, right, we're going to give you money to do this show, which, we've been
Hopefully
knocking
it's
back.
Crocs.
It's going to be Crocs. Crocs are going to come on big.
Actually, I need you for the Teakle Classic.
Every person that approaches us to start marketing us and trying to sell ads for us, and they all come and say, "Oh, we'll get champagne and we'll get luxury cars and stuff," and we go, "No, Crocs,
Yeah.
Crocs. That's the market."
But the thing was, for us, it was pretty cold. It was winter in the Med. We had 50 knots upwind, so everyone was in boots. But then we had Neil McDonald, like this guy's gone around the world. I don't know how many times. And he said, "No, I'm going Crocs. No socks." He went Crocs all the way. It was freezing. But
Yes.
Good old maker. Hey,
He's
Love
a
it.
legend, that bloke. He's the
absolute
dead set
gem.
Well,
legend.
actually, this kind of leads on to my next question. Last week we spoke to Abby about and some of her crewmates on board with Kevin. How about your crewmates? Were there any little isms at sea that you came across, or did any of them act any peculiar way?
well, I think the
what
Crocs.
we're asking for is some stories.
Well, the Crocs for sure were like, I was surprised by it. Let's put it that way. And of course, we had the Spanish guys on board, so we had loads of them. What's it called? The jamon, indeed. So at some point I was like inside, and we had just had a bit of jamon, which is super nice. Like, I love it. But I was inside, and in 65, like, especially when you're going downwind, the boat is super heeled. Like you guys know, you need to hold on inside because it's big. So we've got all these handlebars up there. But at some point they were pretty slippery, and I was like, "Oh, my hands are not working properly anymore. I don't know, something. Maybe I need to wear gloves or so. I don't know what it was." But just the ham was like the greasy part of it gone everywhere, so the whole boat got so super slippery. So there wasn't actually, even though it's super nice.
It must have been jamon iberico, which is it's the greasier one.
Yes, it was like the proper good stuff, which is really nice. But
well, Nieti wouldn't take anything else, I'm sure.
Exactly, he took some extra himself. Yeah.
Did he actually? You get those jigs that you put them in to carve it.
We spoke about it a lot, but we didn't take it on board. No.
You could mount that on the engine box.
Oh, it's going to say, would like make a little shelf for it.
Take a slither on the way through.
I'll ask him for next week. It will be good because we're going again next week with the 65, and I'll ask him. You'll love it.
Yeah. So going again next week. Is that boat going to the Caribbean?
Yeah, we're doing the 600.
The 600. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. God damn. God damn.
That's a dream, huh?
Living the dream.
A little bit of a sail across the Atlantic to go and do the Caribbean. I mean, come on. Really?
But you guys are still in summer. I mean, it's freezing here. So
I was going to say,
I'm really looking forward to
you
the
are
weather.
in Holland now and about to go to the Caribbean and have the time of your life. Fantastic.
Yeah.
The only problem is that we've got plenty of listeners from there, and you will now, of course, be because you've timed this so well that once you turn up, they'll all be hunting you down now. You'll get lots of new friends.
Be careful at the airport.
Yeah, make sure you carry the right level of felt tip pen for the autographs on the t-shirt.
I will.
You don't want one of those big fat ones because you just can't do it. It doesn't work.
I gotta throw one out at you because this is just it's just so funny. I wanted to talk about you did a M32 event, I think. And I'm trying to, oh no, have I lost it? Hang on. I've got to pull it up. I thought I had everything preloaded.
The most Dutch Chinese team I've seen.
Yeah. So there was a Dutch team, right? There was a Dutch team competing.
Yeah.
And then there was a Chinese team, which Arienne, you were part of. And I'm quite intrigued by the Dutch team. So what I've done is I'll just pull it up again because I think I'll just read the names of this Chinese team to show you how good my Chinese pronunciation is. Are you knowing the team I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was fun because we just did the event at home, so it was a full Dutch team. So go ahead.
Yeah, so there was Peter Jan Posma, Arienne, Quinten Besgreen, Annemieke Bess, and Nicholas Heine. The very difficult Chinese
you didn't find
pronunciation.
my surname. Okay.
Oh,
Don't put him under pressure.
No pressure. All good.
So that was the Dutch Chinese team.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
Well, we did an event in Medemblik, which I don't know if you spent how much time you spent in
Medemblik,
Holland, but it's
yep, I know. Yep.
Okay, exactly. So we did an event at home. It was quite last minute. The PJ still had an M32, and we were all like, "Well, there's an event at home. Why not do this?" And then we ended up being second, and we had quite a good team, I think. So then was like, "Well, let's do this more," but then probably need some sponsoring and all of that. So next event was in Marstrand in Sweden. With a Chinese sponsor, but with the exact same team as we had in Holland. So it was a very Dutch team on the Chinese boat.
Marstrand's a crazy spot for one of those things. Just there's a lot of little islands to hit there. You know, like how did you not sink the thing?
Well, they put us outside, which was good because we looked at the place we could have sailed inside, and indeed it would have been major chaos, I think.
Yeah.
But there were massive waves outside, like. You would be going down a wave, you'd be looking like, ooh, where's this boat going to end up? Because you were so fast in just surfing the waves there. Well, it was an interesting one as well, being outside.
And let's not forget, there's the odd rock outside as well, just quietly. If we all remember the 2008 race.
Yes.
Whatever it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
We stayed far away, for be sure.
So you've done a lot of sailing now. We've mentioned some of it. Obviously, you came down to Australia to do the Hobart. Was that on the Zen? Is that the one you did?
Yeah.
2019. Great year.
Is that when you
was super nice.
forgot about Port Starboard?
Yeah, that's right. It was all my fault. Yeah.
So how'd that come about, Arienne? You've done a few stints here. How'd that ride happen for you?
Well, first of all, I went the year before. I did the Rowan Jones, and then I in Australia as well, which I thought was super much fun to see Australia a bit more. I didn't see much of Sydney, so I was like, I would be super keen to have a look and to do the Hobart, of course. And there were some more of the Dutchies, especially from the ones from Team Heine as well. So I think you guys also spoke to Rosalind before. She was there as well, and we had a little group, and we all actually went there 6 weeks before the Hobart. No idea what we were gonna do. We were very lucky to stay with some friends, so that was sorted. But other than that, we were just like, let's get as much sailing in as we can. And we know there's loads going on in Sydney. And then I ended up doing some sailing with Zen in some races just before the Hobart. But they had, most teams, of course, were sorted, as did Zen. But then someone broke their hand or so, which was very unlucky for them. But for me, it was a very nice opportunity because they needed an extra crew member, so I could join them.
How did you break his hand?
I think it was during sailing.
Oh, you hit him with a hammer or something?
Winch handle straight to the top of the head.
Yeah. Old, come over here, Benji. Would you like another drink?
Yeah. Hey, everyone, he's just broken his hand.
Yeah. It's a lesson in life. Never touch it. Never trust a Dutch chick. They're just dangerous.
Especially when they want to get on the Hobart.
Exactly.
They'll do anything.
I must admit, like when you said you did Warren Johns and, came to Australia, and I'm thinking, well, you're over in Perth there. You're about as far away from most of Australia as the rest of the world still. Like it's a long way across. Yeah, but it's only a couple of towns over.
It's still the other side of the world from my perspective, huh?
Yeah, that's fair.
It's the other side of the world from our perspective.
Yeah, it's a long way away, but it's only a couple of towns away.
That's right.
I remember Bossy and I drove from, I think we drove from Paris up to, where did we go? Was it Amsterdam? You and I did a drive. I think that's right. We not Amsterdam, but we went out to, anyway.
Yeah, wherever it was. But we basically went through 3 countries in about 2 hours. In the same time it takes to do 3 towns in Australia. It's just hilarious. Like we couldn't believe it. I was sitting there going, 2 hours
between countries. Jesus, that's just one town in Australia.
I did a train from Valencia to Amsterdam.
Oh,
That's
a
still
good
quite
way
a
to do
long
it.
way.
Yeah, I had to stop.
Traveler,
I had to. Yeah, I know. I had to stop via Lorient to go and do some mini stuff, and then I thought I'll just go back into Paris. Went to Paris, went up to Amsterdam on a train from Spain, and had to meet up with the guys from Magic Marine because at that stage I was doing some work with them, and then came all the way back to Spain by train.
Nice.
It was quite a few laps of Delicate Sound of Thunder, Pink Floyd, I might add.
Yeah,
you could go by boat. Time to do a delivery. All right, so
I was going to ask, out of all those boats, what's the best one you've sailed?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, for sure. I love the 65. I've done a lot of miles on it. I think for offshore, it's super nice because it's racy and still a bit comfy. But I think also, yeah, we did this. Maybe it was a super cool program and also a cool boat we did on the Ep198 with like 20 girls on it.
Wow.
And the combi of that project and the boat was pretty cool. So that was at least a good experience on a cool boat.
What boat was that?
Was the La Bête, the old one. And we did like a month long. There were like 10 girls who did the Volvo. We did the race in Trieste in
the Barcolana.
Like the Barcolana. Yeah.
On the boat would have been the Idea boat. Yeah, I know the one. Oh wow!
What a cool story.
But the Barcolana has it's pretty small.
Couple of thousand.
Yeah, a couple of thousand boats on the start line.
Yeah, and then the big boat in between all those tiny ones were fenders everywhere to start. Like that was the main thing, just having fenders everywhere.
I love it. Hey, so what about in these boats, like all these adventures? This is where I was actually originally going before I started telling my own bullshit story. What's some of the most, is there a situation or something that happened to you where you were worried, or you're like, what's the most extreme thing that you've seen, whether it's fun or dangerous or?
So let me think. I think there's always like on the offshores there's things break, and also when we did that big transat from St. Martin to Scheveningen, we lost all the communication for a while, and nowadays it's quite like maybe you guys I really grew up still having communication even in the middle of the Atlantic. So that felt pretty big because we didn't have any weather forecast or any way of telling anyone we were all right at that point. So that was a big one. And in the last leg, we actually sailed into a whale at some point, like doing 20 knots, and we sailed into it pretty fast. And I was kind of surprised because the whole boat, we think it was some sort of whale or so.
Definitely sunfish, I think. Because the sunfish
we've deployed a couple.
Yeah,
depending on a few races.
Right in front of our boat. No, but I was in my bed and I was asleep and I woke up against something. I don't even know if it was the roof or the side of the boat, but it was a big stop. And then I just heard people shouting, like, go to the bow, check the bow. I was like, well, what's going on? And because I thought we had Chinese or I don't know, done something that was wrong, but didn't know what was happening. But apparently all the guys outside were like sent forward meters and meters. But the good thing was the boat was all good.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Built strong, those boats.
You can get some injuries doing that.
Yes.
Designed to sail around the world, I hear.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
What about boat that you would like to sail? So what are some of the adventures you'd like to do? So here, people are listening in, they're going, oh, this lady sounds pretty good, like what's next, Is it just the ocean race, or does she want to do the Jules Verne, or is she, you wanting to do the Tour de France, whatever it's called, the Vol de France or whatever?
Well, for me at the moment, it still feels like it feels like we've done a leg of the ocean race, but it doesn't feel like I've gone around the world yet.
Yeah.
So for sure that, and I've done a little bit with IMOCA in the last half year, and I've realized that the whole French offshore scene is very different from all the big boat and offshore sailing I've done. So I think it would be super cool to get into that a bit more and see what's possible there and do some cool races with that.
Yeah. It must be exciting to be able to do all this sort of stuff now. It's just, the fact that the sport's changing and finally women are getting that chance, and you're sort of on the crest of the wave. You've had a few people before you, but you're getting these opportunities these days. I know it's still not easy. How do you afford to do it? Like, if you're a youngster trying to make it, have you got a understanding job, or you've just thrown it all in and you're a full-time pro?
No, so I actually started doing this when I just graduated, and I have not done anything with the masters. I've actually finished, but I did a bit of like boat work on the side. And in the beginning, it's not like the first year I was earning loads of money, and I still had to do some stuff on the side. But the good thing is also that most often everything is paid for. So at least you're living life, maybe still as a student, which was fine for me, but you don't have a lot of cost at that point. If you don't pay a lot of rent or so, everything is covered. So that made it a lot easier in the beginning, I think. Like a bit of side work, and then just going sailing all the time is cheaper than being at home and having to do a lot there.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got to ask, biomechatronics, is it robot spiders?
It's not, it's robot humans a little bit more. Like it's, the arms and all of that can move and
Robot
are
humans.
brain activated.
Wow.
Oh, wow. We can
what's
make
the coolest, what's the coolest project you've done there? Have you had your robot be able to do a flip and all those sorts of things?
No, we didn't do a flip or so, but like we did have like the the treadmill where old people can walk on, and it could do like try to swing people off and like make a trip, which was quite fun to try myself as well. But it's not like I'm not using it a lot anymore these days. Like the only like small overlap or so is like we did a lot with simulators as well. And I think they're using simulators more and more these days with the America's Cup and stuff. So that's a little overlap.
Yeah. So is it any of that...
Gentlemen, I've suspected something. This is all a bit of a front. Arienne really works for Larry Ellison.
Yep.
And she's going to be building robots to drive the
GPs. Sail
GP boats around.
Well, one of them.
Just from at home, eh?
No humans
it's one robot.
or
it's just
required.
One robot with 4 arms, 5 arms. Does it all.
Legs to turn the handles.
Yeah, it does all that, Dear. Well, I'm glad we busted her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it will be the next thing in the America's Cup. So, you're obviously, you're planning ahead. So you'll be able to build robot humans for the America's Cup. The Kiwis will be onto it already. We've had the Cyclaws, the
Cyclaws. I was about to bring it up, the Cyclaws.
What about the race now with the ocean race? Obviously, it's now your passion because you're into it. Have you been watching it? And like, are you sitting here going, come on, hurry up, guys. I want to try and watch the finish? Because I'm telling you not to rush right now because they're not going anywhere. They're just sitting still at the moment.
No, for sure. I followed it a lot. And I think I know quite a few of the sailors that are there. And so I think it's super cool to follow. And especially like the last 24 hours, I did the 5-minute updates. It's not good for me. Like I'm checking my phone a lot. But I haven't checked it for the last 50 minutes. So
I'm checking it non-stop.
You're not missing much.
Yeah.
So biotherm looking good.
So from your observations, having sailed against them and now watching the second leg, we'll focus in on the Omokas. Have you got any observations about the boats? What do you think? Because we're not one design, we're a box rule now. So some boats, I've got some views, but I'm interested to see what your views are on the boats that we've got there.
Yeah, I think like it's still like from a bit from outside, but I think you can see that if you see the boats on the dock next to the 65, there's big differences between the boats. And like you can see that Malizia is a lot bigger than, for example, Biotherm and Holcim PRB. And I think you could see it also on the last leg. When they had the windy stuff, Malizia was going so fast. But when it was a bit lighter, they were struggling a bit more. So I hope they're doing well now. But I can imagine it's not as easy for them. So I think there's a bit, like, I guess Malizia will do better in the windy stuff, and since they're a bit bigger and the other guys a bit more in the lighter.
Well, I'll have you know, just quite. I'm just having a look at the tracker. Malizia is actually skipping Cape Town. they've just turned right. I think they're going to just start
straight around the world.
leg 3 already.
Straight to Ushuaia.
Oh yeah, they are too. Wrong way.
They're
Wrong
going
way.
for a search for a bit of wind.
Little head start.
Better bring Rosalind up. Oi.
Yeah, no, so that's kind of my observation. I think you're right, exactly right, Militia, and maybe 11th hour. They both look to be really strong in the heavy winds. Is what sort of struck me, and Biotherm and
PRB,
Wholesome PRB better in the lighter stuff. What do you reckon? Who's going to win overall the whole event?
I have no clue. Like, I think it's going to be super close because I think the next leg will be super windy. Then they will have some lighter legs again. So and then they will end in a med, which is going to be super light again. So I have no idea. I really don't know. You guys got any idea?
Well, you bloody dodged that pretty well.
Yeah, we know the answer.
She's a professional sailor.
I mean, we used to work on the race, so we know who's won already. We've already seen the results.
Yeah, it's all set. It's all rigged. It's all rigged. So, yeah.
Just for the sponsors who put in the most money. I'm interested because one of the other things we threw out the other week when we were talking to Johan, who owns the race, one of the owners of the race, was that obviously, Bicey, and when you came to Australia, you completely skipped Adelaide by the sounds of it, where we've all sort of originated from. And Bicey, being the very sociable bloke, has offered a barbecue for the sailors as they go past this time. And we're just wondering which team will stay the longest and have the most beers. And, I'm intrigued. Who would be the most likely to stay around till the end of the party out of the teams?
To the party?
Yeah, at Bicey's place. They're pulling up at Bicey's place on the way through.
Mate, I'll tell you right now, it's Kevin for sure.
Kevin
Escoffia. Yeah. We'll be smoking burners out the back.
And Abby will be out there rolling her eyes saying, we've got to go. We've got to go, guys. This is ridiculous.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What about this round Denmark? You've got the record for going around Denmark. Is that right?
You did your research well. Yeah.
It's
we did.
It's just memory.
Not bad, is it?
Just
memory.
From memory.
Yeah, we did. It wasn't like full COVID, actually. So there was not a lot going on. And then we just brought the boat back from the Caribbean, which wasn't easy because it was impossible to get out there. But then they said, let's make our own kind of race. And then again, they had a setup of, we were 4 young guys that time. And then we had Bouw was on board, and Jens Dolmer and Louis Bouquet. And they helped. Yeah, it was super good fun. And it was like, we were super, super happy to do it at that point because everyone was sat at home being bored, waiting for some racing to start. Yeah.
But it would have been cool. So was it just good conditions, or it's just no one's done the lap before?
I think a little bit of both. Let's keep it at that.
It's still a record.
It hasn't been broken yet. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I've got a question for you. The Dutch have had a little dabble in IMOCA World in the past. Do you think the race, as it is, and how much the Dutch actually follow the race, do you think it's going to spark some IMOCA discussions within the Netherlands?
Good question.
I think so, and I hope so as well, because I think it's probably the future of the ocean race, and I think the ocean race is such a big part of the Netherlands, and there's always been so many Dutch teams. So I hope there will be something possible and get a good proper campaign on that. Yeah.
Simeon's probably onto it already.
Who knows?
Actually, have we actually mentioned you and Simeon side by side? Like your heads are just.
Oh yeah,
Simeon's brothers.
He's got a good head, hasn't he?
He's
a decent,
massive scone.
He's definitely a normal-sized human being. That boy.
Yeah, I did it. So I did a Europe tour with him, and that was for me. I was in a pit, and Simeon was skippering, and so we were all learning. So I was learning a lot from Simeon that time.
Oh,
so
what not to do?
Well, he was doing these tricks. And I was like, okay, well, like you are like twice my size. I can't do exactly the same. But so me next to this guy, like he's a lot bigger.
You know, they do say that the 24-hour record that Axel Nobel got, they would have gone 15 miles further if Simeon wasn't driving.
Don't know about that.
Just mention it next time you see him.
Yeah. She's being naughty tonight.
Love you, Simeon. Love you, mate.
So when you head to the Caribbean, what comes after the 600? You got anything else planned?
We're doing the Heineken Regatta in St. Martin, which
fantastic.
we did last year with the 65, which is actually loads of fun because it's just 2-3 hours a day of racing around the 65.
Fantastic.
Like there's plenty, 20 knots of wind, sunshine.
Good times.
Just rubbing it in.
I've got a feeling that the post regatta parties aren't quite the same as they were at the Soggy Dollar Bar and what have you in St. Martin. But we won't talk about them on this particular podcast.
We'll see.
So, what's the favorite thing that has happened to you? Like, if you were, if you could just relive one moment on a boat, which moment is it? Can
I mention two? I'm going to go for two because one was for sure actually like the moment when we finished the Hobart with Zen. And I got to Hobart, and the party there, I was like, whoa, I was so amazed by the whole Australian thing. And for me, it was also quite a big thing to do the Hobart. So that was super cool. And
so
of course,
you got your customs pass then. You went into customs.
Yes, I learned what that meant. It was fun. Yeah, and then the last race again, like for me, it was such a long lead up to the ocean race. And now actually sailing away there, and then in Alicante there were so many people on the dock waving us goodbye, and it didn't feel like I'm going around the road, but that still felt really big. Yeah.
What about the start of the Sydney Hobart? How did you find that? That's a rush.
Yeah, but that was pretty cool. There were so many boats, and then all going through the heads, and then just got the kite up there. Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yes.
I think that Hobart that you did on the Zen, and you enjoyed the party afterwards. I think that was the one we lost BP for 3 days.
Yeah, but we couldn't find him.
We couldn't find him. He didn't answer any calls, and then we got a photo of him lying in a park.
I was resting.
Nice.
I had
some of our spies were out.
No, I asked this person walking past to take a photo, and then I sent it to you. So it's definitely. I was very relaxed.
Okay.
I put out.
Yeah, I was just going to say that start at Alicante, I don't think people really can comprehend just how big it is. Like it is quite massive. Incredible. Like when we talk about the ocean race, we're not, we're quite passionate about it because so many other people are passionate about it. It is insane at Alicante. It's, it's a pity you're not in Brazil because then it's even more insane. It just beyond it. Because one of the things we're, I won't waste. We've told the story before. I won't waste the time. But yeah, if people could get that size of the crowd, that it's hard to explain. And I heard this year was the biggest ever.
Yeah, but the thing is also like you first have the sailors parade, which you're walking like there's just loads of people everywhere, and then you get to the boats and they do this dock out parade, right?
Yep.
Where there's actually this guy coming countdown, okay, 30 seconds till you have to leave, and then 3, 2, 1, and you're leaving, and you got your team song. And I didn't realize it right at the moment, but it's so cool actually. Like you don't get it in any other races. I think there's loads of people all the time, and yeah, I think
what was your team song?
Yeah,
what was your team song?
Yeah, it's I don't even know who it's from. But it's I Ain't Worried. But you'll hear it more because it's our team song still. Huh? So
I am worried.
I ain't worried.
Oh, I ain't worried. I am worried. Hang on.
Yeah, I've got a feeling I'm going to have to go to my daughter's playlist to find some kind of groovy song like that.
Yeah, R&B top 40.
Yeah, it's not like an oldie goldie.
No, like the old days with a bit of Metallica or Pearl Jam or AC/DC.
Can I ask, as a female sailor doing what you're doing, what advantages are there to being female, do you reckon, over the men? We hear about men's advantages, but what are the advantages women have?
I think the main one is at least for me, at like the point where I am, it's easy to stand out, I think, because there's not that many girls at the moment there. So if you do well as a girl, I think they see
you
it.
got yourself. Yep.
Yeah, so I think that's a big advantage. Yeah, and I think there's just plenty of opportunities right now. Also in all the one design big boat circuits where they kind of start putting in more rules, like the 44s that you have to have 1 woman on board, the Swan 50s that you can have an extra pro on board. So for all of that, there's a smaller group of women, I think, and there's getting more than there's guys, and there's more and more opportunities. So
a really good point, actually, isn't it? As that comes into play, more and more people are going to get opportunities.
I'm waiting for them to put in the rule that you've got to have one old useless bloke on the boat. It's not the owner.
You already get heaps of gigs though.
Yeah. don't be greedy.
Oh, dear. Well, we're getting to the end of our time here. Are you sort of happy with how it's all going so far? Sailing, that is.
Yeah. I've loved like all the sailing I've done, and it's been hard work at times, but there's so much to enjoy about it. I think I love doing the 65, the leg one and the ones that are coming up. I'm still super keen to go around the world, but I think there's still some time for that. So
absolutely.
Super happy.
I got one. Are you happy with how the podcast has gone so far?
Thank you.
Well, we're very happy.
Absolutely wonderful.
Where are you at the moment? Where do you live in the Netherlands? Which part of that little region?
In Leiden.
Oh, you are in
Leiden. It's
Leiden.
close to The Hague.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
It's close to The Hague, like a half an hour cycle to The Hague.
Yeah. Half an hour cycle. I love that. I remember Bossy, we were having dinner one night, and I think everyone just my favourite site is, for the people who haven't spent any time in the Netherlands, everyone rides everywhere and it's got unbelievable infrastructure. But I think we were sitting there having a beer and they pull up to the little bike lights and, boyfriend, girlfriend, I think the boyfriend was pedaling and the girlfriend's sitting on the back, with the legs crossed.
Yeah.
And they jump off, and when the light goes green, she goes a little push and a little run and then jumps on the back
Straight
and goes
back on.
It's just so cool. It's so cool.
No, it's good. And I must admit, I had a few issues trying to get the bike home on the odd occasion, but
we all learn it from a young age, and it helps for both of these examples.
You guys are awesome. Like you can't beat the Dutch in cycling either at the moment. You guys are just unreal. So, all righty. Okay, cool. I think we may have come to our time. It's been an absolute joy to hang out with another Dutch women sailor. You guys are just unbelievable.
Killing it.
So cool.
Killing it.
Yeah,
good luck for the 600. We'll be keeping a close eye on it. Enjoy and
thanks for having me.
Send our best to the rest of the crewmates over there, and just be careful at the airport, as we mentioned.
Yes. Say a big hello, big hello to Nettie.
Disguise.
Big hello to Nettie as well, because we love it. We love our little mate Nettie.
Will do.
All right, good on you, Arienne. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Thank you.
Running at night jet through.
Boys, I know I've said it multiple times over the years of recording, but the Dutch, there is a special connection between them and the ocean race, and they're
100%.
They're good people, just a lot of fun to hang out with.
Yep.
Genuinely good people, and they're normal sized, which makes them even better. And another fantastic example. Like I can't wait to meet her in real life. We actually hadn't met her before, so this was just out of the blue. We're chatting to Arienne, and just cannot wait to have a beer with her and have a chat. She was cool, as they all are.
If we can catch up with her, golly gosh, she's all over.
Yeah, that's right.
Golly gosh.
Golly gosh.
That's a good one.
Yes, golly gosh.
Golly gosh.
Oh,
Giddy.
dear. All right. Shall we go into the other news that's going on?
Yeah.
Plenty going on, according to the run sheet, Jordan.
There is
It's all
so
in
much
code.
going on.
It's all in code. You're going to have to guide us through this one.
Okay. All right. So club events. Let's go into our club events. First off, the DN, whatever that means. I don't know. It's the most popular ice boat in the world. So whether you're a racer or a cruiser, you can be a member of the DN. So ice boating is what we're talking about. They have in North America, the Central Region Regatta. It's been called on for February 18, 19.
Called on.
So
It's been called on.
Oh,
it's on. It's ice. So if you're into that, happy days.
So they've moved it from Milwaukee at Harkin.
from the Harkin factory.
Anyway, on and you're away. So we'll look forward with interest, and we'll come to all the videos that have been turning up and stuff. People have been sharing a lot. We've got a lot of stuff coming in about DNs and ice boats. The one class that all three of us will definitely turn up for. I can say that safely.
At some stage.
At some point in time.
Yeah. Boys, the wooden boat show or festival
Mate.
is on in
Mate,
Hobart.
I went to the Palace on Friday night and I walked in there for happy hour as you normally do. And there's, normally a table full of people. It was just me on my own.
Everyone's gone to
the Wooden Boat Festival.
Mate, I watched the video of it this afternoon. There's just some little clip put up on the socials, and I was about to just break into an old sea shanty, to tell you the honest truth. But shit, there was a lot of boats.
Oh yeah.
Well,
it's a huge thing now.
I'll give you your target, right? Because
I'm definitely going to this one.
Okay.
Definitely doing it.
Classic dinghy exhibition at Hobart City Hall, and we've already got some photos.
We all know.
We know where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Hobart. We'll come back to that. Hobart City Hall. So if you want to get it on, head down to that. So the Australian Wooden Boat Fair, it happens every year, I think, pretty much.
Yes, it is.
Have I mentioned that the 75th Brisbane to Gladstone's coming up? Easter?
You may have mentioned it, but what you haven't mentioned, which I saw from our good friend Grant during the week, is it's going to be on KO.
On KO. I had to keep that secret last week.
Oh.
So what's this mean? You're going to be booted and suited, Jordan, in the central commentary position? How's it going to work?
In the central commentary position. Yeah, no, we're doing
your
full
white, your off-white, the cream,
start.
the beigey.
Yeah. Oh, I'm thinking of going the Bill Lawry with the big nose.
No, I'd love to see you in a beige suit.
Just shrink your head a little bit. Keep
Beige
the same
suit.
nose size.
Anyway,
the beige.
Absolutely, it's on KO, so it'll be streamed on socials, but and the YouTube, and I'm sticking to calling it that because that's how I want to call it, the YouTube. But yeah, on to KO, which is a sports channel, streaming channel that you subscribe. So that's a pretty big one in Australia.
It's
I don't know
Fox-based.
how big it is around the west of the world.
It's Fox-based. So,
Fox-based. There you go.
Fox-based.
So cool.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Moving on. So good events coming up, and certainly the Wooden Boat Show. Let's be all honest.
Isn't there another event on next week?
Mate,
isn't there another? Did you miss
the press?
Did you miss
Hold the press, Mr. Jordan Spencer.
What have I missed?
Oh, I can't.
The T-Cool Classic.
Oh.
Everyone's heading off to the center of the universe.
Which, of course,
I wondered why you let me have the discussion on the Brisbane to Gladstone. I thought, this is going to be nice, but okay.
So it is the T-Cool Classic starting next Friday, which is a lead-in race to obviously the Quiet Little Drink on the Sunday, which then is the lead-in to the Australian IRC Nationals.
Well, but keeping the actual race itself for Div 1, that's part of the Australian Sailing Champs.
There you go.
So there's a fair lineup, not seen for quite some time, and then
there's quite a few TPs are going to be there.
Yeah, 5 TPs.
5 Smugglers coming over. I saw as well.
Yep, Smuggler, Quest, Zen, SMB, and the Hooligan.
Yep.
So it's quite a formidable fleet, and at this point in time, the race itself looking quite traditional in the sense of just on the just champagne sailing.
Yeah.
But got potential to be super light on the Saturday. So got to get in early to get lean pasties.
If it's good conditions overnight, usually they're for 3 o'clock. So with the pub opens
and when's
up
the
at 4.
racing? Because when's the racing?
So the long race starts Friday, 3 p.m. And the racing's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, and then I'm going to apologise now. You probably won't hear from me for a couple of weeks. We've
got to you guys before.
We've got memories where both of us happened to be in the same place at the same time, and it wasn't good.
Yeah, we've learnt from that lesson. I won't be going live on Sunday night. Put it that way.
Poor old Nikolai didn't quite know where to stand.
All right. Okay. Shall we? Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Well done.
That one will be a great regatta. I have no idea how we're going to produce because I'm doing Sail GP and you guys you'll be doing that. It's going to be hard.
BB is going to go solo.
Yeah, I'll just sit here. I'll just sit here and wait for someone
in front of his whiteboard.
Karate might
sit here and wait for someone to talk.
All right,
he's going to do the
Jack
drug
Lloyd.
check.
Jack Lloyd, listener of the week.
Before we tap into that, just a quick shout out actually to Joss Lloyd. I spoke to her during the week. Told some old Jack stories, about that time that, in Cape Town and whatever, when we're just talking about the race. So, shout out to all that know Jack.
Yep.
Very good.
People, stop sending rainbow pictures. All right,
mate. Stop sending broken down Defender pictures. You started that one. I'm more than happy for more rainbow pictures. Bring them in.
Peter Coleman sent another bunch. I think they were from the Wooden Boat show.
The Wooden Boat Festival.
In Tassie. That was good. But obviously, I've got some friends out there because Hayden Barney sent in, and I sent it to you, that the Land Rover coffee cup. Did you guys get that?
Yeah, no, I've got one actually.
Yeah, you pick it up and it's leaking out the bottom. Yeah. It's a good one. A solid contributor this week has been Mitch Cook. A lot of emails from Mitch this week, which is all to do with the new improved version of Baccarat. I don't know if it's improved. We're just the more volume.
It's new.
We're trying to give you more. New. But Mitch has been helping with that. But I got to say, the winner, it's got to be Mike Madge. Mike Madge.
Maggie.
The Magic Man. The Magic Man.
The Magic Man, yeah.
Mike has been sending, I don't know. Oh, you guys don't check the Insta that well.
Well, no, we do now. We're going to start doing it now.
He's doing it on Messenger, actually. He's been sending us stuff on the Baccarat Messenger. And he sent this video, which we'll have to share, he said, I thought you'd like this. You said you like ice boating. I thought you might like this, it's a DN being chased by a skidoo doing 30 miles an hour. So the skidoo's doing 30 miles an hour. And all you see is this DN just disappear over the horizon in about 10 seconds. It's insane. It's just gone. So I'll have to share that. One of you guys can do that whilst I'm editing. And he said they're on 400 square miles of ice here.
Wow.
He is in Thunder Bay. Thunder Bay. If we're going to go ice boating, boys.
Oh, we're going to go in Thunder Bay for sure.
Oh, what a great name. But anyway, everything he sent to me, I just loved. It was just a dream. So, yeah, congratulations, Mike. It was unreal. You just keep sending as much info as you want, mate. You're in the good books.
I've got one. Another listener of the week. Literally, listener and talker of the week. I was just something that popped up in the socials is some bloke in New Zealand on his HF radio that basically just chats to everyone out in the Southern Ocean. So everyone taking part in the Golden Globe at the moment. So he has basically a daily sked with them, keeps them up to date with things going on, and it's totally volunteer type thing. But every day he does that, and he keeps an eye on them. He tracks them. He does all those sorts of things. So good on Pedro.
Yeah.
I think his name was Peter from memory.
Okay.
Right. And yeah, so he's a good listener.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah. Good on him. Love it. Keep your work up. All right. Okay. It's supposed to be dancing for us.
It's hot time with Bice.
Beauty.
Never gets dull.
Oh, never gets dull. Love it. I was going to mention the Caribbean 600. We did speak about it, but we didn't actually speak too much about what it looks like starting on the 20th of Feb. Have you had a look at the course, boys?
Oh, I did a while ago.
Lots of corners, man.
I was going to say, it's a change.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Challenging course, but just trade wind sailing.
Trade wind sailing,
looks beautiful. So it's definitely, we'll be keeping an eye on that on the coming weeks. They got a fantastic lineup of boats. They're all set up over there at the moment, and they've actually created a new inshore series just beforehand.
Nice.
So we're going to be starting seeing some action from those guys in the guys and girls in the coming days. The other one, did you see what happened on the Bay of Palma this week?
Yes. Did have a look at that little bit of
Ineos T6
Gone turtle.
did a Dino, flipped her over. And what, they're all going to do it, but what I found interesting here is lithium batteries, whole quarter light on board.
Yeah.
So they had a fire on board as well.
Lithium plus salt water.
Apparently. Yeah, she no work. She's not good. No.
Back to the gel batteries, AGMs or
AGMs.
Yeah.
So
back to them, huh?
Back to them.
It's a massive safety thing.
Huge.
It was a big one. I know even the 65s have lithium batteries in them. And going through that whole thing and how you had to have it in a watertight compartment and all those sorts of things for those exact reasons.
Yeah.
And in another world, we know what happens when lithium batteries do catch on fire, Jordan Spencer, don't we, my friend? So the other one I got here, boys, was the social media. You've been mentioning it throughout the week on our chats, BP.
Get into it.
But it does generate some good banter, doesn't it?
It does.
And it's good just getting it. My phone dings about 1,000 times a day now. So I've got to learn to turn that off.
Yeah.
But I saw some when we published the top 10 laser sailors.
Yeah. Everyone wanted to be in it.
Yeah.
Why aren't I in it?
And then basically a few comments came. I mean, awesome list, of course. A few comments came, and especially from the old school, the old guys from Port Lincoln back in the day. And then it got to what the names of their boats were. Like it kind of took this path. And I was just reading them before, and it bloody made me smile. So Grant Cooper, who will be alongside you on the central commentary position, Jordan Spencer. He put something out there, and remembering some of his boats, he mentioned some boats here. Mike Pierce, he reckons, had one with his boat name called Pierce Into the Wind. So that wasn't bad. There was another one, Blue Vein Custard Chucker.
Yeah, you're going to say that too. That was one there.
And as Grant mentioned, I liked the name Boat and its sister ship, Yellow Boat. And I actually remember Grant's laser called absolutely the greatest thing since sliced bread. So, but that, you boys would have had some good boat names back in the day, you reckon? Or it's pretty boring.
I've got no talent.
Well, the VB Express, of course.
Bachelor party.
Bachelor party. Not bad.
Yeah,
my laser was called Bow Movements. Thought that was pretty good. So keep the banter going, guys and girls. Love it.
Yeah.
Now,
cool.
Question for you, Jordan. Second best off the beach class. Answer, please.
Oh, second best. Well, I'm going to say, given my proclivity for not, I'd say 5.0s, obviously.
Oh, okay. We'll go Sharpie. Okay. Second best place to go sailing in Australia.
Well,
You've said it. Your favorite place to
my
go
favorite,
sailing.
yeah. Every time for the listeners, every time we say second best, that's my
It's
favorite
basically
because I
his
don't want to sound
favourite,
like I'm bragging. Yeah. Port Vincent, mate.
Port Vincent. The Sharpies had their state titles there this weekend.
What did they?
Port Vincent. Cranking, just sensational yachting. So a quick shit. A lot of the Sharpie guys and girls listen in, so it's a bit local this, but a shout out to all those that made their way over to Vincent, taken out by Focus again, Mao Higgins, for his I think he's won the stakes this is maybe the 37th time
in a row.
Yeah. I think I'm there on one of those trophies with
cool shot.
Jacko.
Well,
Jacko was
everyone has a
second,
shot.
and current national champion Sassy Foods Blackers third.
There
Isn't that funny? When we were talking to Arienne before, that she went into the Warren Johns Regatta, went to Perth, and then she went over to Sydney sailing, and literally in the middle of the two is the greatest sailing spot in the whole world.
Port Vincent.
It's Port Vincent, and you won't find it on a map, but geez, you'll enjoy it when you go sailing there.
It's around here somewhere.
They do a mean schnitzel at the pub too. Just lovely. Yeah.
Couldn't get a better location. Anyway, keep going.
All right. Now I've got next on my list here. Let's have a bit more of a discussion about the ocean race.
Yeah, how's it going so far? How's it going since the episode started?
Well, they've
done 2.3 miles since we started talking, which over an hour and 20 minutes ago. So it's not going great. And Malizia,
it's still going to Antarctica. Still going.
I think Malizia might be caught in the Agulhas.
Oh no, I think Sam's starting to pull the tiller towards him. She's starting to get the bow down, heading up towards Cape Town. But basically, they're in Stuffle breeze. Biotherm, but it was pretty cool though watching them come in. I must have every now and then, shit, I've got to remember to check the tracker. But seeing them just smoking along.
Yeah.
But how close they were.
Oh yeah. It was full on. I'm really stoked.
It's awesome. And then
we weren't expecting it, were we?
No, I don't think any of us were. And I think that was one of the things we were worried about. What's going to happen? There's going to be 5 boats spread out all over the ocean. But here we go. We got a battle onto the finish.
Okay, I can tell you,
finish, and they hit the brick wall, and now they're basically ghosting into Cape Town.
Yeah, I'm looking at the nearest weather station into Cape Town, and they finished right on the breakwater. By the way, if you're in Cape Town, and you would have finished by the time we publish this. 2 to 4 knots of breeze currently. Looking at the latest and the weather there live. 2 knots right now. 4 knots gusts up double. Yeah. Anyway, she's
so but 23 miles to go by firm. Just kind of sitting lured and behind by 2 miles is PRB. Well, they're almost heading in a due easterly, kind of northeasterly direction to make, because they came super far south to then re-attack Cape Town. I've got to say, Biotherm's looking good, guys. I was speaking got a bit of inside goss from the team, from people within the race. It's a very, as mentioned with Arienne, it's a much lighter boat. Well, compared to the Militia or 11th House, so this could be its perfect window.
What's the wind angle? I wonder. They could have a.
So I've got them basically, 120 true wind angle at the minute.
Okay,
struggling at that. Struggling,
Yep.
So currently, they're kind of between 2 and 6 knots.
Tossing up whether heat up to get that big fat ass out of the water, or just plonk it straight downwind and go there.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think that's why Militia she turning a bit too far right.
Spun around on the spot.
we should. Do you reckon we could cross to Sci-Fi Live?
We might give them a call. Hang on.
Give them a call.
It's been pretty good viewing, but hey, and they must be busting their ass, those OBRs, but it's nothing super duper, is it?
Well,
it's hard for them. It's hard for them.
Oh yeah, it's super hard. Absolutely, that taking nothing away.
I'm disappointed in one thing. They're not doing a live coverage, right?
Like
they could. worst case
I
scenario.
noticed you put the dig into the Ocean Race Facebook page.
But
get the Barcarati over there to give us some live action.
Worst case scenario, just buy an unlimited sim and send someone out there with a phone, and chase boat. That's it. It's just get it. It's doable.
Just more barges. More barges.
Barge, the Barcarati barge. Yep. All right. What next? Moving on.
That is pretty much the stuff I've got written down here. Apart from we need to start talking Sail GP, gents.
We do.
The boys are coming to town. They're probably there already. Well, the setup's probably getting laid in. When are you flying in, Jordan?
Wednesday night. So if you haven't been, it's going to be. This will be a good year actually. If you're in Sydney, to come down.
I'm in Sydney.
The last few years, you're in Sydney.
Go down.
Yeah. The last few years, the tech bases have been, away. But now they're going to be at
Barangaroo,
yeah. And they're actually going to stick the boats out. They've got to crane the boats into the water, so that walkway is closed off. But they've put a walkway behind, and they're going to have the boat and the team bases right next to that walkway. So there's a fair chance you could have a bit of a look.
Whereabouts?
Darling, just on the end of Darling Harbour as you're coming into Darling Harbour.
Barangaroo.
Yep.
Barangaroo. And then,
hey, Jordan, do you know anyone there? Can I come and reckon I'll be able to get in? Or
it's going to be difficult.
You'll have to buy a ticket. $389.
No. If you do want to do like base tours, I think they have public ones, and it's like $50 or something. So you can do it. But yeah, you're not the only one to ask BP, but you know where to find me. But it'll be a ton of fun. And then the other one, of course, is the racing's. I guess the racing's sort of Bradley's Steel Point. I'm going off my memory here. Clark Island, Shark Island sort of thing. I think they've renamed Shark Island to Enigma or something. But in that sort of area there, and looking at the forecast, it looks like it's going to be warm and perfect sea breeze, perfect nor'easter days. So it's going to be unreal. And if you do want to sit out there and watch racing, you don't have a boat, do the Shark Island thing or Enigma, whatever they call it. I should know. That's my job. But that'll be pretty cool if you don't have a boat. Just get out on that island, and I'm guessing Jody Shields will be there, and we'll be having a few million catch-ups. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. We've got Sydney, which is event 9.
Then
we go to Christchurch, and then San Fran for the
$1 million race.
The Bucks.
Yep.
Yeah. And the Kiwis are coming in strong, and they look like they're the form boat at the moment. But the Aussies have a big lead. But
can't take anything away from the Frenchies, the way that they've been yachting too, just quietly.
No, I was just getting there. Getting there. Although they didn't go so well in Singapore, but Singapore was light winds, fluky, pretty sticky little light winds. But it is good to see. One of the great things about the event is they share information. You can't hide anything, so everyone has a chance. Boring your BP.
Just big day.
Anyway,
I'll just slip a bit of no-dos.
I would just say, if you want to get up a really good photo is watching the crane in from the 50. So if you can get close enough to that walkway, have a look. But you'll get, when they crane the boats in, they lift it weight. It's a pretty groovy photo.
Mate, this is the time Henry Waterhouse has to come out in his chariot dressed as Caesar when he comes. You got to remind him about that, all right?
Did you see that? Go on.
The other one we need to remember to do, and maybe hit Jody up when you're there, is we need our little recap, Sail GP recap on all our predictions when we did a joint podcast with Jody.
Oh, yeah.
And we made all those predictions. So we should do a little listen back and see how far off the mark all of us were.
I love it. I can tell you, Henry has shared a photo. He's in Oz, getting everything ready, and he's got the full chariot ride. I don't know if we can find him. He's shaved in his mullet and just had it reshaped in. Yeah.
Yep. So brought himself a VN Commodore. Doing a bit of circle work.
Back at a Winnie Red in the sleeve.
You don't know how true that is, BP, in the old days. Dear. That's it. Yeah, so Sail GP should be a cracker. And fired up, going to be perfect sailing. So happy days. Australia is going to provide. Sydney will provide, and
Awesome.
Sail GP will be unreal. It'll be a battle, battle to the death.
In all seriousness, though. This. What are we going to do next week?
Don't know.
I don't know.
So this is a
will
warning.
Be a struggle.
This is a warning to the listeners. If you don't hear from us,
hard.
just send money. I ran that the other night at the yacht club, like to the new members night. Well, as Commodore, I'm kind of the conduit, and you can come to me and just tell me all the good things we're doing. But if there's any bad things, just send money. Not sure the president appreciated it.
Oh dear.
We're right, the second best yacht club in Australia.
I love it.
Very
love it.
Let's see how we roll next week. Let's see how it goes. Could be a bit of a laugh.
Yeah. Or not. Let's just say this: if we don't get there Sunday, let's get it there Monday. Worst case scenario, but we'll try. We'll try and record whenever.
Yeah, we'll try and do
I'll
something.
Take my gear down.
Yeah, I'll have the kit in Lincoln.
Yeah. And we'll see what.
Very good.
Cool.
Got
Awesome,
your guitar
guys.
ready there, BP?
Get her out.
You know it's always here. You know it's always here.
Yeah.
What about a keytar, BP? Have you ever thought about the keytar
What's
instead?
a keytar?
Oh, I like that from the 80s.
The sitar.
From the 80s.
Yeah, like the
where
keytar, like the
your keyboard where you hang it off your
that
neck like
that
a
old thing.
guitar.
Yeah. Bit like sort of Funky Town, a bit of Funky Town going on.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, who's going to win the ocean race? Who's going to win the leg? Who's going to win?
By them.
I'm going to put Milizia in there. Milizia going to have a blast home.
Oh, Jesus. Big cold.
They've turned right for a reason.
As we're talking right now, Wholesome first, then 11th hour, then Biotherm, all within 0.3 of a mile of each other.
What? No, all right, I'm changing my mind.
3.3. It's going to be I'm calling it a dead heat.
Dead
heat. Cross the line. And it's Milizia by a nose.
Good luck, everyone. Have a good one.
Cheers.